I had to throw the webcam on for this one because we're actually getting some serious changes to Warzone 2.0. Unfortunately, not so much to multiplayer, which is what I mostly record and make content on the channel, but we're still getting changes. Let's go ahead and kind of read into what they are changing. This blog post came out today, and this probably won't be going up until the day after because I was busy today, but what can you do? Hello, Call of Duty community. We wanted to share some updates coming to Season 2 for multiplayer DMZ and Battle Royale. Information on new maps, modes, and more will be shared over the coming weeks. All changes outlined in this blog will be further detailed along with new content in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2.0 patch notes to be released prior to the season launch on February 15th. So, I know they are making a lot of fixes for the game. We're not going to read every single paragraph. We're just going to glance over everything. Crashes and stability. We remain dedicated to improving the overall stability and performance of our games, including reducing crashes across all platforms and titles. I've had this issue where anytime I start up the game, it'll crash once, and then I start it again, and it'll play just fine. I don't know what the hell that's about. Expect the Season 2 patch notes to further detail specific bug fixes and changes ahead of February 15th. Audio global. Data suggests that some PC players may be experiencing audio issues due to discrepancies in the number of channels they are outputting. We've added an option to force PC to stereo output. Be sure to check Windows and in-game audio settings are correctly in accordance with your listening environment. I guess we should read over this. Investigation into player reports regarding audio led us to identify a previously known or unknown issue impacting occlusion across the game. Audio occlusion is a filter that is applied based on the type of material that an object or structure is composed of, primarily on its thickness and how it blocks the full frequency of the sound. Only large structural objects should apply the filter, but we found some small items like a stapler or a pile of rags on the ground that were causing the filter to turn on when it shouldn't have. For example, a wastebasket that was tagged with the incorrect material may have occluded the sound like it was behind the wall, making the sound more difficult for the player to hear. This will be addressed in Season 2, and they'll continue to work on fixes. That's an interesting bug, to say the least. I mean, I have no comment on that. I didn't even notice it. Maybe it's because I don't play enough Warzone 2. That's a bug. I really don't know what to say about that one. That's an interesting one, to say the least. We're gonna definitely read through everything, by the way. This will probably be a bit of a long video. Hardly no editing. I'm gonna throw some music on in the background. UI changes, updates, and more coming to Warzone, or coming to Season 2 to improve overall flow of in-game menus. The menus still kind of suck, but they are way better than what they were at launch. So we're gonna have improved navigation and organization of the camo menu. I would like that. It's a little hard to kind of like get from one end of it to the other for the camos. Like if you go really fast, it'll start you from the very beginning, but if you go really slow and you get to the end of your camos, you can't go over right to get to the beginning again. You have to go all the way back left. It's kind of weird. I know it sounds weird the way I just described it. It's a weird game. More polished social tab, including improved channel swapping and player muting, new bundle screen. Of course, quick equip items from the battle pass when bundles in store, reticle previews in store and gunsmith. Why wasn't this in the game to begin with? You know, a lot of people said this game was like the perfect Call of Duty on launch, but I mean, we literally couldn't even look at the reticles in the game. You can't even swap the reticles out because of the different attachments and stuff. We have so many different sights now, but this is something that should be in the game on launch, in my opinion. They've improved the clarity of attachment blocking, logic, and gunsmith. I don't really know what that means. Improved clarity of attachment blocking. Oh, okay. So like certain attachments do block other attachments from being equipped. That makes sense. Many more bug fixes. Thank you. We've also recently introduced a fix that restored instant speed of players and menus, status refresh of friends. So I guess you'll be able to see certain people like from the previous games quicker, and your friends will, you know, their statuses will update faster. Or you can refresh it. Interesting. More will come in Season 2 patch notes. Experience. Improved action after action report with audio. Play again feature in Battle Royale. Don't know why that wasn't in there to begin with. Bug fixes for inconsistencies between challenges. Battle pass, weapon progression. Nothing here about weapon balance. There's some more coming later that they'll talk about. We're gonna briefly go over some of the Warzone changes. Basically, 1v1 gulags are coming back with a domination style flag point. It's basically the original gulag from Warzone 1. Some people hate this, some people like it. I'm kind of in the neutral ground where on one hand, I like the concept of the 2v2 system because it makes for some really funny content or interactions with other players, you know, having a teammate. But on the other hand, constantly getting those teammates that were AFK or die right off the rip was just not fun. Now you're stuck in a 2v1, and then you got the kids on TikTok telling you skill issue. What, you can't 2v1? Well, no, it's a 2v2 game mode. Like, yeah, you can 2v1. It's fun sometimes when you clutch up, but I think this is a good change. Honestly, I am going to kind of miss the jailer. I didn't really mind the jailer, so it just going back to a domination flag is kind of meh. That's really just going back to the classic style of it. I honestly didn't mind the jailer. So I mean, they have edited the season 1 gulag for better 1v1 combat, but are actively working on a dedicated 1v1 map for future seasons. So 1v1 is going to be coming back with the current version of the gulag, but they'll be reworking that for the future. Ground loot revisited, loadouts will spawn with. The pool includes assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs. Primary weapons as the circles progress. Shotguns have been removed from the rotation, while handguns will remain available as secondary weapons. For those leaving the arena victorious, the gulag will grant a larger cash reward to players. This change to cash will allow redeploying players to get back on their feet a bit faster. I like that. I mean, I don't see why there's a reason or in what world you should just be absolutely handicapped for, you know, dying in a game with a TTK as fast as this. You know, some people have just told me, just don't die. It's a battle royale. You're going to die. They have a gulag system in place for a reason, because sometimes you're just going to die. But if you die at a point and, you know, the game's RNG just kicks in and you cannot find a gun or you can't get your loadout, you shouldn't just be absolutely punished so hard, in my opinion. I think it's a great change. As long as they're not giving you like enough racks for like a loadout or something, that'd be stupid. But a little bit of cash to help you kind of get back in the game. That's the whole point of the gulag, to help you get back in the game. So I think it's a good change. Alongside increased cash, victory cash rewards mentioned in the previous section, gulag will now spawn cash as ground loot. What the hell? So you'll be able to loot cash in the gulag. All right, that's cool. Cash economy, in addition to the changes to the gulag above, we are balancing the battle royale economy with a slight reduction to cash rewards for completing contracts. Additionally, we are increasing the lowest value of cash piles from ground loot to 800 and from cash registers to 500. Previously $100 minimum. Yeah, I didn't like $100. Like, if you're trying to get a teammate back, you know, and everything you loot only gives you $100, you spent 5 minutes looting. Obviously, that's not going to be the case every time, but that was just so demoralizing. I don't mind it being up to 500. It's not like it's 1,000. I think that's fine. In addition to this, cash registers can be acquired, or I say cash registers as well. In addition to this, cash could be acquired via ground loot, containers, and white stronghold supply boxes throughout Al Mazrah, but can no longer be found in basic and legendary supply boxes. Interesting. Okay, so they're giving you more money, slightly harder to find, but they're giving you more for your buck. I think that's a decent trade-off of the CI plays. This redistribution should make for quicker, more consistent gameplay in the pursuit of resources. I just got to see how that plays. So with looting, people are not happy about this one. A majority are happy, but another good portion are not big fans of it. You know, you can't please everybody. As announced last week, we're shifting away from loot windows menus to floating loot that will now drop out of all containers in the world, similar to loot from supply boxes. You'll still have your backpack for your character so you can organize your inventory. I think this is an okay change, just because I feel like the backpacking system when you're looting works in a slower paced game, like the PUBGs, like the Tarkovs. COD is fast paced. There's constant motion. I don't know how I feel about it, because then you could argue that Apex is an infinitely more faster game, way faster than Call of Duty, but they have the whole backpack looting window. I don't know. There's really no real way to improve that. I didn't actually mind it for the most part. Like, I can see both sides of the argument. I actually liked it. You know, but at least you'll still have your player backpack. I like backpacks as a whole. I think it's a fun mechanic. It makes the game just feel a little bit different. I like it, you know? I mean, yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. I like it, but I don't like it at the same time. It's to improve the pace of the gameplay by minimizing time spent navigating the UI and getting players back in the action faster. I don't think it was that bad, if we're being honest. We're excited to see the new backpack system give players the agency to customize their inventory for a desired playstyle or role within the squad, I guess. In our continued effort to balance engagements, medium-large backpacks will no longer be available, and eliminated players will drop loot onto the ground rather than loot-filled backpacks. I mean, it'll make it easier just to grab money and go, you know. In a game like COD where you have kill streaks and you just get a fresh kill and you need those plays desperately, I guess it is a little bit more of a hassle to have to stop, loot through a backpack, and then try to keep going. I see both arguments. Every player will have the same backpack throughout the game, which will subsequently reduce the impact of stacking medical supplies, equipment, and kill streaks. We'll continue to look for feedback, provide updates that streamline the looting experience. That I can see. I mean, as long as they don't take it away from DMZ, I think DMZ needs those medium and large packs. It is literally DMZ. It's the mode where you're supposed to go around and collect stuff. But less streak stacking, the better. I mean, I've seen people carry like 5, 6, 7 streaks, 5, 6 self revives. Like, you gotta be realistic. That's just kind of absurd. Loadouts have always been a core part of Warzone's Battle Royale. It's funny because they originally took loadouts away altogether. People did not like that. I can see why, because loadouts are what made Warzone unique. Something we're paying attention to, blah, 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 blah. Making the further changes to how players acquire part of the entirety of their loadouts. Season 2 will introduce customizable perk packages. I'm iffy on this one. I wouldn't have minded if we just had more variety in perk packages, but now customizable ones basically, well, I don't know. I guess you can't argue that it'll make it so people only use like certain perks now, because it's kind of what they were doing with the perk packages. People literally were only using specific perk packages, so it's a lose-lose situation. It's going to be sucky one way, it's going to be sucky the other, but I guess in this way at least you'll still be able to probably run some other perks that you like that maybe aren't what you would call quote-unquote meta, but they'll still be kind of fun to play around with the meta perks like Overkill and probably Ghost and all that shit. So I mean, this feature will launch with a slightly reduced pool of available perks, which we may slowly reintroduce over time. I wonder which ones they're going to take away. We want to navigate this particular feature as carefully as possible, ensuring that all available perks provide ample utility and remain viable, balanced options. Primary weapons will continue to be available at buy stations, but now at a more affordable price point, so players can pursue victory with their most desired weapons. We also remain happy with the introduction of loadout markers, though we have taken a careful look at the price point. The price of loadout drop markers has been slightly reduced so that respective squad sizes can acquire their full loadouts at a faster pace. In addition, on extremely rare occasions, players may find one while looting throughout Al Mazrah. A second loadout drop public event has been added, which means the loadouts or the drops will not happen on the 1st and 5th circles of each match. Sorry if I'm stuttering over my words. I came right home from work and I didn't drink any water, which is a stupid idea. 3 plates. You start with a 3-plate vest, so it's basically like Warzone 1. Like, I did not like the whole you have to pick up the plate vest, because it reminds me of how it was in Blackout, where if you had level 3 armor and another person had level 2, level 3 was such a stark, you know, difference. In this game, with the fast time to kill that you have, you kind of need all the health you can get, because you can die just like that, you know? So having even one less plate when you can't find that extra vest just made fights a little too RNG, you know? Like, imagine you just land, a player grabs a vest, they have 3 plates, you cannot for the life of yourself find that vest so you can get that 3rd plate in, and they just got like this weird advantage over you. It's just a weird RNG system that I didn't think was honestly necessary. I don't really mind this change, honestly. Movement, this is the one that's controversial. Some people hated slide canceling. To be perfectly honest, I was one of those people. I got bored with slide canceling after 3 years. I'm glad it's gone. I don't think they're bringing it back. But I do think being able to plate while running and being able to plate while going through doors is a necessity, because hear me out. Positioning is important in Warzone. It absolutely is. It's honestly been important since Warzone 1. A lot of people argue Warzone 1 was all about movement. That isn't true. There are a lot of scenarios in Warzone 1 that require you to have better positioning and the ability to actually aim and fire your gun, or build your gun to fire optimally. It wasn't all just movement. I hate when people say that. They just use it as an argument to argue against people that like movement. Like, yeah, movement was important to the game, but it wasn't the only thing. With Warzone 2, however, a lack of movement basically eliminated a lot of recovery play, in my opinion. And I only say that because you die so quickly in this game. Yes, you got to be more aware of your surroundings and your positioning, but in my opinion, with how easy it is to die in this game, it shouldn't just be an instantaneous, you shouldn't be insta-killed. Like, you should have the ability to kind of replay and recover, get out of dodge just a little bit more. I don't think slide canceling should come back, so before if anybody even watches this, says anything about that, I'm fine with slide canceling being gone. But adjusting the movement so you can plate while running or plate while going through doors, I think that's important. It makes the game feel like you have a chance. We have made an important tweak to the movement that should yield better outcomes for players in combat. Starting with Season 2, players will be able to bust through doors while plating the way they would if they were sprinting. This change includes a slight increase to movement speed while plating to enable players to get to cover in faster moments of need. I don't think that's a bad thing. It's not slide canceling, but it gives players a chance. Like, there's some pretty cheeky angles. People say you gotta watch your corners and watch where you step. There are so many like hiding spots in this game. You need to have the ability to just kind of recover sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. Buy stations. In order to make buy stations and their goods easier to access, we've revamped our approach. Spawn locations have been added / adjusted. Spawns will be more static across the map. Not more, they will be static across the map, and loadout drop markers to have an unlimited stock at all stations. I think that's good. It just makes fights a little less weird. Like, if a player was able to buy a loadout marker and then you get to that station and you can't buy one because somebody else bought it, kind of weird, As always, we'll continue to monitor the global balance of our economy and blah, blah, blah. Strongholds. Now, there's a lot of stuff with strongholds and DMZ. I have not played much DMZ, so I'm probably going to quickly glance over this one. Strongholds provide an alternative gameplay experience with high payoff for those willing to tackle the objective, and for others interested in robbing players of their rewards. We're committed to providing a balanced engagement for players who choose to enter Strongholds. Season 2 will bring changes to the rewards players receive from Strongholds and Black Site completion, as well as additional adjustments to the AI combatant damage. The AI in DMZ is still pretty damn cracked, honestly, man. In DMZ enemy tuning, the AI were challenging, but the ramp up of difficulty was often steep with some players getting overwhelmed. Yeah, because if you get charged with 30 guys that basically have aimbot, it's GG, man. They've introduced a number of balance changes, the number of AI spawning, and the accuracy of the AI, range, a bunch more. All of this should provide a challenging but manageable play space that still requires player respective enemy combatants. That's fine. Spawn points, we're tuning some of the infill points across Al-Mazrah for improved early match experience based on gameplay data. You can get spawn camped or spawn killed in DMZ. It was kind of stupid. Starting at a point at which your squad feels isolated or without loot and contract opportunities is not the best experience. I agree with that. Mission difficulty tuning. The faction mission difficulty ramp up was too aggressive for many players, and that the demanding scale ultimately made it very challenging to unlock the second assured weapon slot, completing all tier 3 missions in Season 1. We've adjusted the overall scaling of difficulty in missions as the tiers progress. Later tier missions will still be challenging even for the experienced operator, but we believe more straightforward access to an additional insured slot will provide a better path for overall players. Lots of stuff here. Crashes, we know crashes are especially impactful in DMZ. If you lose your items or contraband weapons as a result, addressing these crashes is a priority, blah, blah, blah. Seasonal refresh, all new missions are coming to Season 2, including a refresh to your current faction mission progress and inventory. Ooh. So this is what a lot of people who play DMZ were complaining about. That's a hell of a change. Wow, I think Tarkov does a seasonal wipe though, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. With a new exclusion zone coming to, wow, wait, we're getting a new zone? Huh. Players have a third option to choose from when deploying in DMZ. The faction mission refresh will provide new missions that see you across these destinations, including Building 21. We suggest you and your squad gear for infiltration first. Okay. Multiplayer. The changes that I care about the most. Not a whole lot. I'm scared. So they're getting some audio adjustments. I think they mentioned this above here with the audio, so I don't think we're going to go over this a little too much. Probably just, yeah, we're going to skip the audio part. The inclusion stuff that they mentioned above. Perk balancing. We've heard a lot of feedback around the timing of bonus perks, specifically the ghost perk. We looked at swapping this perk's position, but we felt this would create a severe imbalance of the perk system. For Season 2, we've updated the rate at which bonus and ultimate perks are earned. It reduces the bonus perk cost by 50% and the ultimate by 25%. This will allow players to get goals earlier in matches, which will better support players looking to engage more aggressive. I feel like if we're going through all this effort to really just increase how fast to get these perks, we might as well just have a regular perk system, because it sucks not getting them for half of the game, and then it's just kind of dumb that you get them almost as soon as the game starts. Might as well just make a regular perk system, if you ask me. But that's just my thought on that. Weapon balancing. We're gonna have weapon balancing. Hardcore's coming. I don't know why we didn't have it from the get-go. It's like they're hitting the reverse button, like, okay, we can add a bunch of cool features to the game without taking away staple features like hardcore. You know, it's just like when we got Jetpack Call of Duty. We didn't lose hardcore or the ability to run on the ground just because we had jetpacks. Like, it was a new thing that was added to the game, but those classic bits of Call of Duty were still there. We're getting a Valentine's playlist. We'll be detailing multiplayer modes coming to Season 2 in the coming weeks. 1 week per month, Infinity Ward will be creating a Twitter poll for fans to vote on one of that week's playlists from a rotating pool. And we're getting ranked play, which was promised at the beginning of the year. That's it. I'm not reading all this. Stay frosty. I mean, lots of changes to Warzone 2, but I do wish that they kind of treated multiplayer the exact same way that they treat Warzone, where they're completely willing to go back on their fundamental design philosophies that they said they weren't going to change, and then they're changing. It was like every time Raven Software steps in, Infinity Ward almost automatically changes everything. I wish we were just getting that universally, you know, not just with Warzone. Warzone is their moneymaker, but we also all pay money for Modern Warfare 2, and Warzone 2 is free. You know, there are a lot of things I do like about the multiplayer, for the record, but there are a lot of things I still would like to see, like maybe getting dead silence back as a perk and red dots on the minimap, because that just makes sense. That's just a part of Call of Duty. What are your thoughts on these changes? Let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Be sure to sub to the channel. We're almost at 300 subscribers on my second channel. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Peace.